Have you ever watched a movie that is so good that nobody really talks bad about it or really mentions it ever? In the year 2020, we have so many origin tales movies. We have Captain America, we got Iron Man, we got the Hulk, we have Guardians of the Galaxy, Wonder Woman, Man of Steel. We have so many origin tale movies that this one gets swept underneath the rug, but it's actually probably the best origin tale movie there is. Probably one of the best. I won't say the best, but one of the best origin tale movies there is. And we just sweep it underneath the rug like it doesn't exist. Or we know it exists, but we don't mention it and when it comes to talking about the top origin tale movies. Maybe because the sequel of this movie is so good that you forget about the first one. But we really shouldn't forget about the first one. It's pretty dang good. And we're gonna take a trip back down memory lane to the year 2005, 15 years ago, to review Batman Begins, the first of the Christopher Nolan movies, the one that a lot of people just forget about, but it actually is pretty dang good. I'm about to explain it in this episode of Movie Breakdowns. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka, and what is Movie Breakdowns? A movie review series we look at new and old movies, give them a grade, A through F, plus and minus if you count. And if there's a movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below, and I try to get to as best I can. Also have a Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka, and on this Patreon, you get first come, first serve. So you ask for a review, I get to it immediately. You get trailer reactions, trailer reviews, first thoughts, and many more. Plus, you get reviews before they come out on Facebook and YouTube way before they actually premiere on Facebook and YouTube. Now, let's get into today's review of 2005 Batman Begins. This movie is a 2 hour and 20 minute movie. And I will say, it does feel like a 2 hour and 20 minute movie. That's probably one of the bad things I have to say about this movie. Everything else is either good to great. Now, I've seen The Dark Knight, and actually I've watched these movies in reverse. I watched The Dark Knight Rises, which is probably my favorite one of the trilogy. The Dark Knight, which I've only seen twice now in my life. And then Batman Begins, which I've probably seen maybe 3 or 4 times. I don't remember Batman Begins out of most of the movies. I do remember Liam Neeson being in the movie, which is great, by the way. I do remember Lucius being in the movie, Morgan Freeman, Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Gary Oldman, Cillian Murphy, and that's it. And then when I went back and watched it, I was like, oh yeah, they're all still there. Scarecrow is the thing I remember in this movie as Batman's antagonist, which was really Ra's al Ghul, who was Liam Neeson. I do remember him being in this movie, but I didn't remember Liam Neeson's reason for what he was doing and why he wanted to do what he wanted to do until I watched it again. I was like, yo, this makes complete sense. This is actually a villain who's is thought out, not just I want to rule the world because of rule the world's sake. He's actually believes that Gotham City is so corrupt and so destroyed from within that you can't save it, and it must be destroyed by causing terror and havoc and chaos, which once again, chaos does bring order. So there's we'll bring order back to Gotham, and that's what he wanted to do. While Bruce Wayne, Batman, wanted to save Gotham. And begin the movie, he starts off as a criminal. Bruce Wayne's in jail, and Liam Neeson, Ra's al Ghul, finds him in jail. And you're like, okay, he finds him in jail. What's going on here? And the movie opens up. It opens up that way. So it's not just a superhero starts off in the middle of the alleyway and his parents getting shot down and killed and oh, here we go, Batman story. No, it starts out with Bruce Wayne already older and he's handling and still dealing with the guilt of his parents dying, with him being scared of bats. If it wasn't his fear of bats, his parents wouldn't die or wouldn't be in the alleyway when they got shot and robbed. And the movie ties it all together, so his fear of bats what made him become Batman, and then get over his guilt to get over his parents' guilt of them getting murdered would cause him to become a criminal, trying to think like the modern criminal, which he was stealing from himself, so it's kind of funny how that happened. But that's how he became a criminal, because he wanted to get into mind as a criminal And then he meets Ra's al Ghul, who teach him how to become more stealth-like and more of the techniques that he used as Batman. And you see him trying to be Batman before he got the gear. Like, he's not really the owner of Wayne Enterprises, being taken over by stockholders and stuff like that as a board. And Bruce Wayne is kind of like the face of Wayne Enterprise. And he goes in, meet Lucius, who is Morgan Freeman. And Morgan Freeman is kind of like the weaponry tech and development R&D part of Wayne Enterprise, and he helps Batman gets all his stuff. And he helps Batman like learn how to use the equipment and stuff like that. And Alfred's in this movie, played by Michael Caine, who kind of been the sassy character, which he is in the comic book, sassy person to Bruce Wayne. Is kind of like his father figure, looks over him. But it is done so well as an origin tale movie that you learn how Batman becomes Batman. You learn how Bruce Wayne decided to wear the mask and why he's doing this, because it incites fear in him, it's to incite fear in other people. And he believes that the city can be saved by taking down the criminals a different way than the police department, who has also got corrupt members, and the mayor and the city and the justice system got corrupt people in there. Well, Batman believes he can take it out that way, while his lifelong friend Rachel, who played by Katie Holmes in this movie, who to me, Katie Holmes did a good job, but Maggie Gyllenhaal and The Dark Knight did a better job at Rachel. And when I watched that one before watching Batman Begins again, it was like, I didn't even realize Katie Holmes was in this movie, and I know she was Rachel. Cause when I watched Batman, I watched The Dark Knight, not Batman Begins, but watched The Dark Knight with Steve and Kelsey. Steve was like, yeah, Rachel's in the first movie. I was like, is she really? The reason why I didn't remember, because she was a different character. She played by a different person. Well, Katie Holmes is not really memorable in this movie. She's there, does a good job, but you don't remember her in this movie. But you definitely remember Maggie Gyllenhaal as Rachel in the second one, probably because her interaction with Heath Ledger, who is the Joker, which that's a whole nother conversation for another movie. But back to this one, Katie Holmes' character Rachel wanted to take down the corrupt people through the justice system. She's a DA, and she's trying to take them down through the justice system. So you have Batman trying to do the same thing, Rachel trying to do the same thing, and then Ra's al Ghul wants to do the same thing, but his way about it is causing the city to go in terror. Now, how are they doing this? They're using poison gas that make you hallucinate and see a bunch of things, and you first get introduced into this gas at the beginning of the movie with the flower that Bruce Wayne has. He learns how to hone his senses with the flower, and then the gas is made doubled again with a stronger potion or stronger component when Scarecrow uses it. Yeah, Scarecrow's in this movie, played by Cillian Murphy, which I'm like, oh, yo, Scarecrow's in this movie. But when Scarecrow comes in at the hour and 15-minute mark, it is a hilarious scene where Falcone gets sprayed and he's screaming with his eyes squinted and just like yelling like, ah. I won't put it in here because it's hilarious. And I don't think, like, if the movie decided to take a turn, that's where it would have took that turn and been just a goofy movie. But luckily, Christopher Nolan knows how to wrap it back around and make it not as goofy, make it more serious and darker movie. Which a Batman movie I kind of feel like should be. Batman does work in the night, never in the daytime. He does a few times in the comic book, but he doesn't like the daylight. He likes to be in the shadows. So Batman character really works for more of a serious character. And you know, it's goofy adaptations of the Batman, but this one right here seems like to be the best Batman we have seen so far. And the movie it does a really good job. All the actions in the movie are great. The music is great by Hans Zimmer. He always knocks it out of the park every time he does it. The tone of the movie is great. The pacing is the one thing that seems a little bit off, and it drags, I feel like, a little bit. Like, I'm noticing I'm watching this movie for 2 hours, and I was. Now, back to the finish of this movie here. So Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow is being used as a pawn by Ra's al Ghul, who at the beginning of the movie actually takes a doppelganger, or pretty much has a poser decide to be Ra's al Ghul, and who's played by Ken Watanabe, by the way, Watanabe. Which Ken Watanabe, I heard his voice, I was like, I know who this guy is. I know who that dude is. He's so cool. I'm glad he's in this movie. He plays the fake Ra's al Ghul, while Liam Neeson is like hiding as another name, and then he becomes, like, at the end of the movie, she's like, no, I'm the real Ra's al Ghul. That was just a poser, you know, plain as me. And Bruce Wayne and Ra's al Ghul have their talking moments. Ra's al Ghul pretty much pretty giving his whole plot to Bruce and says that, hey, I'm going to bring the city in terror and Gotham will correct itself over time. We're going to bring it back down. And by using this microwave technology that Bruce Wayne Enterprise has that can, if ever wait, water, and the water system Gotham has the poison stuff into it. So when the water evaporates, everybody inhales the gas and start hallucinating and pretty much going to attack each other. Batman stops Cecily Murphy, he stops Cecily Murphy, Scarecrow, and he stops Ra's al Ghul with the help of Gary Oldman's Gordon character, and they save the day. By the way, Batman, his thing that he doesn't kill in this movie, in the Dark Knight series I will mention, he never officially kills with his own hands, but he put characters in a situation where they can't live or they will die because of the situation they got stuck in. Like both times, Ra's al Ghul got the fake one who fire fell on him and Batman let him burn to death, and the other one who Batman left, Liam Neeson version, who Batman left in the train to crash, they both died. And Batman in the comics will actually save both of those Ra's al Ghuls. He wouldn't just let them die or fend for themselves unconscious. So that's one thing I'm like, yes. And then Kelsey pointed out in the Dark Knight version that Batman has caused all this damage with his car and everything, but it just so happened nobody's in the car to get killed. Which you're like, yeah, he is kind of destroying people and could be killing people. But the movie does mention, oh, you didn't kill anybody, but because you could have killed somebody, Batman. What are you doing? Now, let me get into the actors in this movie. Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne, Batman, I thought he did great. A great job, no complaint. Alfred, who played by Michael Caine, another great job. Sassy, kind of conflicted character who the father figure of Bruce Wayne, didn't want to see him get in trouble. Great, love him. Lucius, who's played by Morgan Freeman, great. Ra's al Ghul, who played by Liam Neeson, phenomenal, great. Cecily Murphy, who played Scarecrow, he did a great job as well. Katie Holmes, who plays Rachel Dawes, she did good. She did good. She wasn't really the most memorable character, but she did good for what she had in this movie. And then Ken Watanabe, who played the fake Ra's al Ghul, this is a surprise to see on this movie. And also Jack Gleason, who plays freaking Joffrey in Game of Thrones, is in this movie. So that's a little Easter egg there. And then last but not least, Gary Oldman, who plays, at the time, Sergeant, who becomes Lieutenant Gordon. He's in this movie as well, and he did a great job. So the cast of this movie is great, and these actors and actresses been in other movies, and I feel like this is one of the best works they've done together. And Christopher Nolan did a great job with the tone of the movie, the music of the movie, who done by Hans Zimmer. Like, Nolan knows how to write a movie and write a storyline and put it together and make it great on a movie. I don't think I ever really seen a bad Nolan movie yet. There's probably a bunch of them out there, but I've not really seen a bad Christopher Nolan movie yet, in my opinion. But the pace in this movie is slower, and it's really slow. And when you finally get to see the Batman, like, oh, okay, but you realize, and you're like, man, how long I've been watching this movie? Oh, I'm an hour into this movie, and it's an hour left. Okay, cool. But yeah, it's a fun movie. Definitely worth to watch. Give it a watch. Do I think there's anything else I really want to talk about when it comes to Batman Begins? No, that's it. I'm going to give this movie, Batman Begins, an A-. I feel like this movie is an A-. The slow pacing of this movie, and where you feel like, okay, this is a 2-hour long movie, but as far as that's the only thing I have a knock on it. And then Katie Holmes is not really much of a memorable person. No knock to her. She just didn't really stand out to me, and probably because that's the writing for Rachel. But in the second one, Rachel does stand out more. So those two things for me give this movie an A-. It's a great movie. It's not like the one you remember all the time. It's probably one of the reasons why we don't talk about it enough, because the sequel is a better movie than this one. And I think that's why that one gets talked about way more. The Dark Knight gets talked about way more than Batman Begins, because of the fact of the pacing and not much memorable moments in this movie. You know, it's a good movie. It's not that much memorable to it. But then you get, you know, The Dark Knight, which you get freaking Heath Ledger as the Joker, who's like just iconic. And then The Dark Knight Rises, which, looking back on him now, The Dark Knight Rises is probably, as far as movie-wise, probably the weakest of the three. Still a good movie, probably the weakest of the three, but it's so memorable because Bane, and it's so memorable because, you know, Catwoman and Batman and all the things that movie has into it. I think Bane probably brings that movie together more than anything. Both, by the way, all three of these movies are really quotable. Like, for example, why do we fall? So we learn to get back up. Those things are quotable in this movie. The whole series is quotable. The music's quotable. And the music's not quotable. The music is phenomenal and iconic. You know the Batman theme music when you hear it. The Christopher Nolan version of it. So it's an A-. A-, that's what it is. If you've seen the Batman Begins or Batman Begins, what do you guys think? Please put in the comment section below. I'm curious what your thoughts are. And thank you guys for watching this episode of Movie Breakdowns. See y'all next time. And keep being awesome. Oh, one more thing. I don't think I mentioned that this movie, like, is a Friday night movie. I probably said it, but just like said it so quickly. This movie is definitely a Friday night movie, and you should be watching. Batman Begins is A-. Go watch it with your friends and family. Alright, I'm out. See ya. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, you want to see what else I'm doing in my normal life and other things that's going on, please follow me on Instagram at Ali_Zakka. I'll put it right here around my face. Yep, right there. Also, if you want more episodes of movie breakdowns or grind towards success or whatever it is I'm doing on YouTube, you know what? Follow my page right here, like I said before, the little comment thing right there, And then you can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right here, and watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success right there. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time, and keep being awesome.